Embrace the new era of learning FEFDY.
A riser, shirts and trousers.
ET Holidays Star, South India's #1 travel brand.
Shut your doors. Coming in is a brutal force. It's going to rain sixes and fours. Bro, kneel down. Balaya roars. Hi, this is Galatta Plus. I'm Kairam Vaashi, and this is about Anil Ravipudi's Bhagavanth Kesari. If life gives you a Balakrishna who's 63 years old, make a Bhagavanth Kesari with him. All props to Anil Ravipudi. This is very much a Balaya film, no confusions there, but it's a well-written Balaya film. This is a Balaya film where heroines are treated fairly. This is a Balaya film which doesn't demand your brains, but does have a soul. This is a Balaya film with a typical corporate villain, but it was fun, Max, to see Balaya on that screen wearing a costume which reminded me of Rajinikanth in Peta's second half. Vijay, the role that Sree Leela plays, is still a schoolgirl when she loses her parents. Nelakonda Bhagavanth Kesari willingly adopts her and becomes her father. And from that point, he shuts all chapters of his own life and becomes a doting father whose world begins and ends with his daughter. His only aim is to make sure Vijay shapes up well as a bold woman. Adabidda Pulibiddala undali, he says. And for that, he makes her sweat it out through exercises and by making her apply to the army multiple times, both of which Vijay is not interested in. While Bhagavanth Kesari at least knows how to make Vijay stronger physically, his bigger challenge is to strengthen her mentally because she keeps getting these panic attacks. Under this setup, if someone or something were to put Vijay's life in danger, what would NBK do forms the rest of the film. This film does have a flashback like a typical Balaya film, but it doesn't wait till the interval point to reveal it. In fact, it starts with it. The film starts with the younger Balaya, moves to a 50-year-old Balaya, and then goes back in time again and all that, and all these transitions were smooth. Sree Leela gets a good role and she has performed well. She also gets a couple of fight scenes which luckily are not half-cooked. Kajal Agarwal plays Katyayani, a psychologist who's 32 years old, and that was refreshing to see. She gets a decent role with decent screen time, and within that she gets a couple of hilarious scenes with Balaya and with Anil Ravipudi's sense of humor. Balaya's age does seem to have a little bit of a bearing on his physical mobility and agility, but he is in top form in every other aspect, and I really mean it. Beyond all these points, what made Bhagavanth Kesari a rewarding watch for me was its writing. Barring a Ganapati song and a mostly stereotypical villain played by Arjun Rampal, the writing was deliberate, intentional, and smart. Every scene, and I think I must say literally every scene, had an intro and an outro, and most of the scenes had a purpose to serve as well. Listing down the number of whistle-worthy scenes in this film is going to be a long drawn exercise, and hence I'm not going to get into it. There's a scene where a small-time bad guy enters the frame boasting about his face value. Just check out how the idea of looks and face value is used as a continuous theme of that scene. Then there's a bus fight. Just check out the number of elements in that fight along with the change of music. There's a scene about heroism in a police station. Check out how that scene gets a closure. There's a scene where a crack in a glass wall is shown at the beginning. Check out what happens to it by the end of the scene. I know I said I wouldn't get into listing down the scenes, but I couldn't resist because this is simply fantastic masala writing. Every trope, every idea, every mannerism gets a round off. Balaya keeps drinking tea, keeps whistling, keeps talking about the advice he kept getting from his dad. Even the fact that Katyayani is a psychologist and Bhagavanth Kesari an Adavi Bidda get their justification. The cork opener, mic testing, heating tea on a cop's belly, the rainbow, even Vijay's phobia gets rounded off. In one fight scene, Vijay has to untie her dad's hands, but Bhagavanth Kesari is deliberately making her do that so that she can untie herself from her fear. Rahul Sanghvi, the role played by Arjun Rampal, wants the world under his feet, and most of his scenes get that camera angle. He and Bhagavanth Kesari are parallels in everything, just that one is on the side of good and the other on the other side. In a fight, they even get to exchange similar blows. The action works, the heroism works because the drama and the emotions work. Unlike some Balaya films, this film is not just about Balaya's heroics. It is a solid relationship drama between a parent and a child. Bhagavanth Kesari loses his mother, loses his entire family, and Vijay too suffers the same plight. And they both get to share a song, which again is a great idea. To its credit, this is a film which attempts to present its women as people with agency and as people who are firm about their choices. For example, Vijay is clear about the kind of life she wants and is willing to disappoint her father in order to have it. This film also addresses the topic of child abuse and talks about good touch and bad touch, something that may not be directly related to the story, but it did not matter because Balaya was hitting it out of the park. Sure, CG and green screen work should have been way better, but trust me, it did not bother me beyond those few seconds. Balaya plays NBK and his jail uniform bears the number 108, and we all know what it means. Vijay calls him Superman, and we went in having signed up to exactly see that. No duets, no cringy romance, but there is enough supply of well-written punch dialogues. S.S. Thaman's soundtrack continues to be inspired by some of the recent hits, but nevertheless works. As for songs, he as usual is better with the softer ones. Kamal Haasan had Vikram, Rajinikanth, Jailer. Shivraj Kumar got his jailer in the form of Ghost, Chiranjeevi, Walter Veerayya, and Balakrishna now with Bhagavanth Kesari. Isn't it a delight to watch our heroes kick ass in good masala films even in their 60s? The final bit of the film with Balaya's punch dialogues totally came out of left field, and boy, was that a masterstroke. Some may call this an ultra and unnecessarily violent film, and some may call this a regular over-the-top Balaya film, but NBK says, "Bro, I don't care," and I said, Jai Balaya.
New way learning through FEFDY.
A riser, shirts and trousers.
ET Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.